Hi there, Victor Proudhon speaking to you. Anarchist artist, going for a little stroll. Well, it's happened again. It's happened again! I have been charged with not being an anarchist, as I claim. What right do I have to call myself an anarchist when I espouse and uphold property rights and capitalism? Now, I know when I say property rights and capitalism, and especially in today's culture, in the epistemological jungle that's so thoroughly entrenched in false ideas, I know as soon as I say that, I can just hear the rattling heads and the little peas in the pods and against rubbing up and slamming and against the tin of what people think capitalism is all about and what property rights is about, which is usually something very sordid and ugly and dirty. And here I am saying that I advocate that both is already, you're going into a large cesspool of misunderstanding, where you have to turn yourself into spin on your head and turn yourself into a pretzel and do backflips trying to explain exactly what you mean whenever you engage in these type of topics. But I have done a video on property rights, and I do encourage you to take a look at that. But there's a very basic reason why in certain circles and among people who are intellectually inclined and in intelligentsia of why it's considered that anarcho-capitalists are not anarchists at all. And a lot of things can be fleshed out, but I'm going to deal with two basic issues, and that is property rights and the issue of the labor theory of value as introduced by Karl Marx, the founder of communism. Now, Marx was greatly influenced by Hegel and Kant, but one of his lesser noted influences was Proudhon, who wrote a book asking the rhetorical question, what is property, which is the title of the book, and the answer that is given in the contents of the book is that property is theft. Now, what does that mean, property is theft? Well, basically the idea here is, and this is a very quick distilled presentation. I hardly would say that it's exclusive, but I'm not doing an hour video here. I'm just doing 10 minutes or so, right? But the idea here is that it kind of, when you look at the world and the abundance that we have, the natural resources and the fruits that grow on the trees and the oil and whatever the case may be, we have an abundance of all these goods in nature. So, and here we are, we're human beings, we're born into the world, and all this bountiful harvest of goods is just frozen in nature, waiting for us to extract it and to utilize it and to refashion it to suit human needs and preferences and survival and comfort. But it's already something that's there in nature. You see, it's there. So there's nobody who owns it per se. It's just there, And so the very idea here is that why communists, or anarcho-communists for that matter, would consider property as theft, is because a small cadre of people, designated as the bourgeois class, have hoarded all of that, all of the means of production, and to themselves, and then they present slave wage labor of another class of people called the proletariat, and which they get a small fraction of the large ass profits that the capitalist extracts for himself out of his greedy selfishness, and gives a few breadcrumbs to the 99%. We are the 99%. And so this is the idea of that they hoard and control the means of production, and just give a few table scraps to the proletariat, to the worker, to the working class, to the lower classes. And this is exploitive, this is wrong. It's basically, I don't care what people say, it is a moral argument that's being made when they present this kind of objections. And you see, but it goes further than that. I mean, that's the history. That's the history of this whole idea that is well known in a lot of intellectual circles of people who've studied political philosophy know about this already. But just something further that I would like to trot out to you as a tentative hypothesis is that, of course, the ruling class, the government officials, when I say ruling class, I mean the government officials, the political pundits and political leaders, have been in bed with captains of industry and big business, and you have your crony capitalist assholes. You have your mercantilism and so forth. So this the business and industrial class is in bed with the ruling class, and sometimes people of a Marxist leaning or communists have just considered, one and the same. So when one of the things that has given a bad reputation and misunderstanding to property rights is that in a certain geographical area where you have that designated as some country, give it a name, give it a flag, give it an anthem, whatever country we're talking about, once again, there's a small cadre of people who are the leaders of that geographical area, and they consider themselves the owners of that large slice of geographical turf. And so all the resources and that's on that turf, natural resources, is something that they consider to own. It's not justly acquired property. It's just something that was, it's a matter of divide and conquer, and that they claim to be the owners of a certain geographical slice, and that's why there is such a thing as property taxes, because the political leaders, once again, they consider themselves the owner of the land, and you're just basically paying your pound of flesh, your rent, or whatever you want to call it, for living on their property, and so that's another reason why this can ruffle philosophical feathers of a certain designated intellectual class who consider this an outrage. Because once again, the objection is that how can you claim ownership of something that was given to all of humanity in great abundance, and that there should be an equal distribution of wealth, and how can just one class through violence claim to own a bigger slice than anybody else? And they consider this whole idea of ownership of property to be nothing more than theft because of it, and there is no intrinsic inherent ownership of something. That's the big stressing point here is that we're born into this world, all the goods are already here, so since the goods are already here, it's just a matter of dividing it up equally, and where nobody has to suffer great poverty and want and need and die, and that the whole world can be fed if only we have a fair and equal distribution of the goods that are already here. But of course, this is a problem that's fraught with so many philosophical and factual errors. It's I couldn't possibly uncover it in one video. But there is the issue of a legitimate and a distinct conception and definition of property rights, which I would designate as properly acquired property, and that's what you can hear in my other video when I do speak about that subject. But that is one reason why there is this idea that property is theft, is because, as I say, everything is given in nature, and we have the ruling class, and when they have the business class, of which the Marxists and the communists and anarcho-communists just consider all of one class in cahoots with one another, conspiring to to hoard all the wealth at the expense of the 99%, and that's what drives the current global awakening, the global protests around the world. Is this idea? That's why they do not have any one singular message to take. It's a hodgepodge of every philosophical hue that you can imagine on the spectrum, and they are not speaking with one voice. They're one large body that's pretty much devoid of having a head behind it. And but one thing is that they've thoroughly accepted these philosophical premises of capitalism bad, property rights bad, equal distribution of the wealth, and of course the wealth that has been expropriated. They're demanding. They are demanding expropriation. They are accepting the premises of their enemies, but they just wanted to redirect that expropriation of wealth in a very different way than what is currently taking place in the political spectrum. So they are fundamentally accepting the philosophical premises that is to the destruction of all. It's bad philosophy, wrong philosophy, falsehoods, enshrined falsehoods that is going to make the problem escalate, and it's going to continue. Humanity will continue to go on its destructive hamster wheel path, so long as we don't uproot these false philosophical premises and start doing some serious thinking on the matters. And that's why, as an anarcho-capitalist, I do make these videos. I do try to dig a little bit deeper on philosophical premises, and I encourage the other individuals of my ilk to do the like. And I do thank you for listening to this video. And Victor Proudhon signing out, anarchist artist. Pop goes the culture.